All of the food we eat and much of the clothing we wear comes from plants and animals that are raised on farms. Farms are different in type, in size, and even in name.
Welcome to Barn Talk. What happens at the barn stays in the barn, but not today. We're going to let it all out for you guys. Today is going to be a Barn Talk Hot Topics episode. A lot of hot topics to discuss today. Some in the farming world, some in the political world. We got a lot to talk about. But before we get into it, you guys know the drill. If you get any value from the show, share it out with who you know. The more that you guys do that, the more that this show grows. We found that word of mouth is the best way to grow a podcast, so we appreciate all that do that. If you want to support Barn Talk in another way, you can also leave a review on Spotify or Apple and tell us how you think about the show. The more that you guys do that, the more credibility it gives our show, so we can get more guests on the show. Get them down here to Southeast Iowa to come into the barn. Last thing you can do to support Barn Talk is head over to our direct-to-consumer meat business, farmergrade.com, where we sell American Wagyu, American beef, American pork, and American chicken, all from American family farms here in the United States, processed in America, and you can save 10% off if you use code BARNTALK. So thank you guys so much for all your support. Last thing, just thought of this. We also have a YouTube channel. If you're listening and you want to watch us, you can check out our ugly faces on YouTube. Every time we post an episode, we got a video version as well. So that's what I got.
Speak for yourself. I feel pretty good. I just got a haircut.
You look like you went through the gauntlet. You got your hair spiked all the way.
It is a little puffy. It
Yeah.
does get a little puffy with the humidity. But
yeah, it looks like you just stuck your head out of the car and just let the wind hit you.
I kind of did. I styled it straight back today. Straight back. So
well, I don't look any better. I just got done mowing the yard.
You look like you're dressed for spring.
I know. I'm so pale that I don't like really getting sunburned all too much, so I tend to cover myself up a little bit. And I also went and chored, so I took my shirt off anyway and put on coveralls, so I don't smell the best either.
Yeah, you don't.
It's a little bit of a rough day today. I don't feel clean at all yet, but we'll get there.
We're struggling a little bit. I just got back from NPIC, National Pork Industry Conference.
Nice.
In Wisconsin Dells. I was up there for 3 days, and so it doesn't seem like what day is it? It's Friday. Doesn't seem like Friday. And we're behind. We got too much stuff to do and not enough time to get it done, but that's okay. The mood of the swine industry is not very good, and we'll do the hot market update, but basically hog prices have not performed anywhere near what everybody thought they would. Packer margin's not very good. Producer margin is in the shitter. The only one making money is the retailer. The retail margins are pretty good on pork, and I think the problem we got is we're right there in that sweet spot where we're producing enough pork that there is not a scarcity, but at the same time there's not a glut. So the price just stays right there about that $90 mark, $88 on the 100-weight price, and that is, if you're the best, if you're in the top 10% as far as your cost of production and how good a job you've done hedging your pigs, you probably making a little money. And if you're not, or if you're in an area where you're paying a pretty strong basis for corn, you're probably losing some money. But it was, really good seeing a lot of people, and I would be amiss if I didn't, I would be remiss, right? Is it remiss? I don't know. I would feel bad if I didn't shout out and say that I really appreciate our friends at AP, Automated Production. They actually sponsored my way up there, and my good friends at PSI out of Wellman, Iowa, they paid for my room, so that was kind of nice because I'm a tight ass. Yeah. And you do have to be invited to go. You can't just show up.
Yeah, it's all about the networking.
Networking.
You got that in spades.
Yep.
We got a whiskey minute that we're gonna do at the end of the show here. It's just been one of those days, guys. Just been one of those days. A lot of stuff to do. Feel a little bit stressed. It's just been one of those days where nothing seems to be going
quite right
or the way you thought it would go. So
we tried to do this 7 hours earlier.
Yeah, but we couldn't quite make it swing. So we're gonna have a little sip of some good stuff at the end here. So be looking out for that. Well, why don't you give them the rest of the hot market update?
I might or might not already be sampling.
There you go.
Something in the whiskey.
That's why you couldn't make the difference of those two words there.
It could be. I might be slurring.
You were up here a little bit before I was.
I had to wait. My printer's not working very well, so it's awful. The contrast isn't very good.
Need your glasses, old man?
Nope, I'm good.
All right, good.
I'm good.
Eyesight's still there.
Yep. Oh,
That's
yeah.
good.
100%. I'm squared away. Corn for July, 407. Locally, 452. And 461 at Cargill or Cedar Rapids ADM. Sorry, not Cargill. Beans, 1137. That's on the board for July. Burlington, 1197, 1219 Quincy. Wheat, 554. And I'll tell you right now, wheat took a wallop because the USDA crop report came out today. We're recording this on the 12th. And it was actually pretty bullish for corn and soybeans. About 145 million bushels of corn disappeared because of the demand, the old crop and new crop demand. But wheat, they found a bunch of wheat yield out there and bushels, and it just got hammered. So as a result, we didn't get much bounce off of corn or soybeans because wheat kind of just pissed all over everybody. So wheat 554, but it's probably about 13 cents lower than that because it had the hammer. Hogs 88.55, right there. You look out, you got to go all the way to fall to get a $100 hog number, and by the time we get there, I don't think it'll be there. Cattle 183, feeder cattle 257, crude oil $83 for July. Bitcoin, $57,300. Bitcoin, I just think that with the momentum in the equity market, the S&P 500, it's basically the S&P 7 and 463 other stocks don't do so well, because if you pull out the 7 biggest stocks on the tech side, nothing else is moving near as well as that, but those 7 drag it along. So I think a lot of money's flowing into equities and commodities too, and as a result, Bitcoin not getting a lot of money flowing in there. Tesla 241, it took a hit today too. Gold $2,420, that is a pretty high price for gold. Silver $28.68. Beyond Meat $6.84. Just like throwing that in there. But what I wanted to know was, how much corn or beans do any of you guys have priced out there for new crop? Because I'll just flat tell you, I don't have any priced for new crop. I almost sold some corn there earlier when we were at the 460, but in my marketing plan, I was really banking on getting some $4.75 corn sold, so I didn't sell it, and probably should have, but got quite a ways before fall, so I don't know what's going to happen. But I'm just curious. Do you look out there? Do you think USDA is right? Do you think that we're going to have this crop? Do you think that we're undervalued or overvalued? I'd be curious to know that, because we've had almost perfect weather. We're not tasseled yet. We're just starting to tassel because we're a little bit behind. We didn't finish up planting corn until the 17th of May. There is some corn around the area that has tasseled and is pollinating, and the weather's been damn near perfect. And a lot of people say this is the most critical time. And if that is the case, we've had almost ideal weather. My question is, how much is the fringe areas and the areas that are wet and the areas that didn't get replanted or got replanted really, really late. How much does that hurt? And then the other thing is, in dry years, you don't have to worry about that fertilizer going anywhere. It stays put. And this year, I'm wondering whether or not there's going to be some huge top-end yields out there, but I just wonder whether or not those areas of the fields that aren't tiled real well or low or rolling or whatever, is your fertilizer getting away from your corn to where that top end is going to get nicked. I don't know. I'd be curious to know. I'd love to have somebody tell me what to do because I usually do the wrong thing. But, yeah, how much corn or beans do you have priced going into fall? I'd like to know your thoughts on that.
That was a very in-depth market update.
Yep.
I think the people appreciate that. Yeah, it's been a different year than the last 3 years. You know, last 3 years before this one, it was all dry. Mm-hmm. This year, like you said the other day, every cloud that comes over, it feels like some drops of rain are coming out of it, no matter what cloud comes over. Yep. And that's, that hasn't happened in a few years. So we're getting rain, but we're also getting that humidity and sunshine. So it's just a question of what you said. Is that fertilizer or manure going to leach out, or is it going to stay down and really get to the corn crop? I don't know. We'll just have to see. Right. I think you're right in the fact that your good spots will be really high, but there might be some more inconsistency throughout the whole field, depending on what the field is or how it looks.
And I'll add one more thing: the crop report, as far as how much the crop is rated poor, good, excellent, whatever. In any other industry, if a number was thrown out there where the survey of producers that got the information that is portrayed, if that information was only from, let's just say, less than 40% of the actual farmers, and the farmers that were surveyed got no instructions as to how to quantify whether it's poor, good, excellent, whatever, that report would be thrown out, like they wouldn't use it. But we use it. So the crop ratings, less than 40% of farmers respond to that, and most of them probably lie, I would imagine. I don't know, maybe not. But somehow we still use that data. There's an awful lot of things in agriculture today that are so antiquated that we shouldn't be using them, and USDA is one of those things. I think that's just an absolute dinosaur. All you have to do is go to your local ASC office and see all the shit that they still do on paper, and the fact that you still have to go there, like DocuSign that shit. And not only that, you should just be able to go online and do it all. But hey, that's your tax dollars hard at work. So anyway, I digress. We should move on.
You're already getting hot in these hot topics.
Yeah, that's not bad. A little hot.
That's the whiskey talking.
Might be. I'm getting pissed up.
Well, we're going to start with our first topic here. This will get you even more pissed up. So I'll kind of tee you off here. Okay. So Dad had an experience this past week, or maybe this whole summer. We're gonna bag on the juggernaut of Amazon. So if any of you know Amazon, for a long time, they just had Amazon trucks. That's all they had, right? But now you got random cars pulling into the driveway that you don't know if it's Amazon or who the hell it is, but they end up being Amazon because they don't even have a truck yet, or they just don't have enough trucks, or I don't know why.
They wreck their truck.
Or they wreck their truck or whatever. So I guess I'll kind of let you tell the story, but this is really funny because I work with a UPS driver every single week to come and pick up our orders at Farmer Grade Warehouse, and I love our UPS driver, Dan the man. Shout out to you. He does an awesome job. He's always there on time, always in a good mood, never giving me problems, and I love the service that I have with them. But go ahead with what happened.
I guess my question is, who is the bravest delivery service? And the reason I ask that is because I was actually on my way home from Wisconsin, and I get a call. And what's funny about this is I don't have a dog anymore. My dog, the original Duke, German Shepherd, awesome dog, best dog I've ever had. He died a couple years ago. And so I have kind of sneakily adopted Sawyer and Kat's dog. So their dog, it's a chocolate English lab. His name's Duke also. And he's like my grand dog because he comes up to my house, hangs out with me, likes to ride in the car, loves it when I'm grilling. I might or might not occasionally drop a snack to him once in a while, even though he's on a rigid diet. But yeah, he's my buddy. And that dog is like...
Doesn't have a mean bone in his body.
There's nothing intimidating. For one, anybody that knows anything about dogs, I don't think I've ever seen an intimidating English lab.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're pretty much all stomach, and they would like to lick you to death, or they want you to rub their butt. You know, I mean, that's their deal. But I get this call, and it's this Amazon delivery driver, and he says he's got a package. He's at my house, but there's a dog. And that's all he says. I'm at your house, but there's a dog. And I'm like, yep, there's a dog. I said, that dog is nice as pie. I said, he won't hurt you. You don't have to worry. He's like, could you come get the dog? I said, well, I'm not home. And I had no idea if my wife was there or not. I said, nobody's there. I said, but he won't hurt. You'll be fine. I said, just tell him to get away. He'll back up. He'll give you space. He's like, okay, I'm going to try it. And you hear him open the door, and he's like, what's his name? I tell him his name, and he's like, Duke, get away. And apparently Duke, kind of looked at him like, what? And backed up. And this has happened so many times. And I just think about this, and I'm like, UPS man doesn't ever do that. UPS wheels in there, backs up to my door, hops out, throws the dog a biscuit, whether the dog will eat it or not. The FedEx guy, I've never seen a FedEx guy cringe at a dog. Hell, my speedy delivery guy, nothing. These Amazon drivers, like, what is the deal? Like, is it a liability? Is Amazon so damn afraid that if something happens, like, they're going to turn around and sue Amazon? I don't know. But I'm just like, come on, guys. You got
I guess the majority of their packages are probably getting delivered in the city, and you don't have dogs sitting on the front lawn. But
you do.
In the country, I mean, there's farm dogs just about at every farm. So you're gonna have to have a different protocol because if every time you got to get a package for Amazon, they got to call you because there's a dog outside.
It's a driver-by-driver thing.
That's stupid, and that'll make you not want to order something from them.
Though, it got me thinking.
What the fuck is wrong with the delivery drivers now?
Yeah.
Where's the heart?
Wussified.
Pussified.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
But not UPS.
Not UPS.
I'll tell you what.
Dan the man would never do that.
No,
Dan
that's
the
right.
man would get out and pet that dog.
Yep.
And he would get that package to our doorstep.
UPS and FedEx to some extent, although you always seem to get a variety of FedEx drivers. Like, our FedEx comes from two different places. So Cedar Rapids, Iowa, or Ottumwa, Iowa. Depending on who ships what to who, you'll get a driver from one of those two places. But in a world where there's very few, like, traditions, like we've talked about how when we grew up, everybody watched the same TV shows because we only had 3 channels. And, there was a lot of similarity, and there was a lot of stuff that you had shared experiences. One of the few shared experiences left in this world is your UPS man. You can count on your UPS man because there's a little bit of change, but you get the same guy. Old Chris was my UPS man for a long time, but he doesn't make it out there very much because they changed his route. But I got a new guy. I like him. He's a good guy. Not scared of dogs.
And I would say also just to kind of go on traditions. The delivery driver, the delivery man and a dog, they have a special
Absolutely.
bond as well.
Have you seen those
Every time a
videos?
delivery man comes, I mean, Dan always tells me he just has a route and he knows the dogs just like he knows the people.
Yep.
It's a thing. He knows the dogs just as much as he knows the people, and he loves the dogs, and he always gives them a treat when he sees them.
Have you seen those delivery drivers that have made the montage TikToks of every dog that they have on their route every day?
Yep.
That's pretty awesome.
It is awesome.
Amazon guys, they don't have
They
that.
don't have that montage.
They don't have that. No
Nope.
montage.
Fucking Amazon.
Anyway, minor deal.
Just another
Minor
thing to
dealer.
bag on them. That was kind of a fun hot topic. Nothing crazy, but grow some balls. Grow some balls.
Yep,
I know
there you
there's some
go.
bad dogs out there, and it's okay to be leery, but most of the time, I think owners probably take good care of their dogs.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
at least make a note. Hopefully you don't get a call again. Hopefully he wrote that into the system that Torque's house is good. The dog is friendly. So he won't call you ever again. I wouldn't count on that either. Yeah.
I wouldn't count on that.
No.
Okay, this one is
This is probably the hottest topic we got.
Yeah, especially in our world of ag. And it just keeps getting a little more speed rolling on it as it goes.
It gets worse.
So this started a couple weeks ago. John Deere announced, well, actually it started before that. So before any of these layoffs were announced, they announced that they were going to move some of their production to Mexico. And I'm pretty sure they've already got quite a bit of production on some of their smaller stuff. Excuse me. It's the whiskey. Whiskey's working me up. They've got, they got production all over the world, but they've got a lot of manufacturing. They've been building down in Mexico and other places. But they announced that they were moving some of their production from Iowa to Mexico. Then came the layoffs. They announced they were going to lay off some people from Waterloo, and I think they were going to lay off some people from their combine harvester deal in the Quad Cities.
Des Moines, too.
Yeah, and some people out of Des Moines, which is their design engineering deal.
I got a buddy that works there.
Yeah,
He made the cut.
he made the cut.
But
He's
there were some layoffs. He's top notch.
He's risen to the top there.
Yeah, he is.
So,
I won't say his
I
name,
call
but he knows who he is.
sharp individual.
Yeah.
But then, and I would say they also today's Friday the 12th. They announced today they were laying off another 345 employees out of Waterloo. But then, just like a few days ago, this video surfaced by a documentary filmmaker, and he was basically validating charges from former employees that Deere and their CEO, their new CEO, are 100% going down the road like Tractor Supply. DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, and a lot of woke policies. And the example they gave was that employees were basically encouraged and rewarded to narc off fellow employees if they used any terms or didn't follow protocol of these DEI policies that they had. And the other thing that they gave an example of was how Deere has moved towards all their email internally. Everybody's got to use she, him, he, her, and not Mr., Mrs., whatever. And that a group of their finance people, they put them through like a DEI training deal, and they were given the examples of all the literature they had to read and all the exercises they had to do. And Twitter was just blowing up with people that are just reading Deere, the Riot Act. And there was one guy on there that made the blip that they buy 22 John Deere tractors a year, and they're going to have to think about that. And it got me thinking, because we have a hell of a lot of Deere equipment. The tractors I have, mowers, skid loaders, a lot of the small equipment I have, all come from Deere. And it really isn't as much that I got a hard on for Deere as it is that the service is right here, 4 miles away from my house. So that's super important to me. But as this thing just keeps rolling along and it seems to be gaining more and more attention, it's getting picked up nationally. More groups are getting, and more people are getting pissed off about it. I just thought, so this will be a really interesting, I guess, situation in the fact that
they might have Bud Lighted themselves.
Well, they might have, but are farmers so
pissed off about it?
Well, are they pissed off about it? Are they pissed off enough about it that they would change brands? But the other thing is, are farmers so embedded into Deere's technology as far as all their mapping, as far as their machine management, all of that stuff, are we to the point where guys couldn't switch if they wanted to? I mean, you can, yes, you can, but I'm saying have they hooked us so well with the technology and all the things beyond just the piece of equipment that farmers aren't willing to go through the pain to quit that, even if they don't agree with the politics? And I think that's what's going to be interesting to come out, because we told ourselves as being, traditionally, farmers are very conservative, very passionate about
America,
their beliefs. But this is kind of where muscle hits the road. If this all proves out, I mean, if this holds up, because there's some pushback on it, and I am sure that the public relations side of Deere is working 24/7, figured out how they're gonna counter this narrative. But if it holds true, if it proves out, will anything happen? Will anything change?
Hard to say. It's really hard to say. I think you're right. We're gonna have to just kind of look and see how it plays out. I don't think this is the only bad decision Deere has made in the last couple months. You know, they did that whole campaign with chief tractor officer that was going to ride the country. That was going to ride the country with their new sponsored athlete, Brock Purdy, and they're going to go and they're going to do this whole campaign across the United States and learn from other farms. And they picked, not bagging on the kid at all, but, you know, they hyped it up to be like they're going to pick a farm person. They're going to pick this farm kid. This is like a chance to unite the farm community.
They played it like they were going to pick somebody to represent the farmers as much as Deere.
Right. They hired this kid, and this was going to be I felt like it was a great way to get the modern times aligned with kind of the FFA, ag, you know, just the ag community. I thought it would have been a fantastic way. And they didn't go that route. They decided to go with a kid that doesn't know a whole lot about farming, you know, and not bagging on the kid at all. Really. Didn't know nothing. He just made a really good jingle. I think he writes music or sings or whatever. And they picked him. A lot of people were pissed about that.
A lot of people
were pissed about that too, because they were like, you made it seem like you were going to pick a farmer. You know, that was kind of the point of it.
Or at least Corey. I mean, I wouldn't exactly put Corey.
Yeah, Corey from Farm for Profit. He ran a hell of a campaign. He ran a hell of a campaign, man. He was really going after it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know why these companies. Well, I know why. They got shareholders and they want all this DEI shit. They're not going to get the money if they don't do this DEI shit. Yeah. So they got to do the DEI shit.
Yeah.
And that's the unfortunate part, but it's pretty fucking obvious that the American consumer doesn't want the DEI shit. They don't want the woke shit. We don't want it.
Yeah.
We don't want the woke shit. It's not working. So just stop doing that shit. It's not working. Nobody wants to. Most people probably don't want to work for woke ass companies. It makes it harder to work in the workplace. I'm all about treating each other right, and obviously there's boundaries that you should not cross, and you should have respect for one another. But you should also be able to have a little bit of fucking fun at the workplace and enjoy your time with your employees.
Well, and let's just, it's the same thing as not being able to stop because you see a dog. Let's get over our safe space shit.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to go out in the world and get a fucking job.
The world's not a safe place.
Yeah.
I mean,
you had better grow yourself a little bit of thick skin that if I give you some smart ass comment, that does not
rock your world and you got to
Yeah.
take a fucking 2-week mental health break.
Yeah. And I just want to say one thing about the chief tractor officer deal.
Yeah.
If Deere had half a fucking brain, the person they should have hired as chief tractor officer wasn't even running. You know who they should have hired? Tony Reed.
Growing corn.
Tony Reed would have been the perfect chief tractor
But
officer.
you can't. It's we have the same experience. These brands all want to be within the culture, all want to have a social media strategy, all want to do influencer creator work and work with other creators and, really connect with the consumer, But then they come out with these rules of what the creators...
You can't say this.
Can't say this, can't wear this, can't do this, can't do this. We don't want this person representing this. We got to have this person watch this video, or 5 different people got to watch this video to approve
gotta
it.
Review it.
Got to review it. It's like that Tony Reed would never work because they, But exactly, I know what you're trying to say. He would have connected and been the most real person that they could have got.
The customer base of John Deere
Would have loved it.
both agricultural and construction, would have loved that.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect.
He would have been, he would have connected. I think, and people would have probably loved him too.
Yeah.
I mean, some people probably wouldn't have liked the F-bombs, like they don't like my F-bombs on here, but it is what it is.
Whatever.
But yeah, I agree. They should have, in my opinion, they should have picked a farmer and used it as a way to connect with the ag community. That's just my personal opinion. We'll see how it plays out, and we'll also see how the rest of this plays out.
Yeah,
I just don't understand why. Well, again, it's all about money at the end of the day. They got to do it because they're not going to get the funding or get the money if they don't do this DEI shit.
Well, they're getting pressure. There's no doubt they're getting pressure from the top.
All the companies are. All these major companies that are public are getting they're getting this thrown at them. Mm-hmm. Pressure to do it.
Yep.
They're all getting pressure to do it. And that's why it's like, man, fuck going public. Going public is just like you sell your soul.
It's like the kiss of death.
Yeah, you sell your soul. Yeah, it's great money, but you sell your soul to the system.
It's just whether it's what you want. If your only goal is to cash in, get a big paycheck, then going public, that's the way to go. But if you want to build a legacy, and if you want to build something that stands the test of time, going public, that's
I mean, look at the Budweiser family.
Yeah,
we talked about that. They cashed out, and you trust that ownership is going to do right by you, and they made some mistakes.
Only as good as the people that you hire.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think people are sick of it. I think employees are sick of it. I'm sure there's Deere employees that are even pissed about it and are just like, this is bullshit.
But they can't say anything.
Can't say anything. You're trapped.
So get drug into HR.
Right. So we need more real American companies that aren't going to be pushing this shit, that are private and can dictate shit on our own terms, that do right by the American consumer, right by the American workforce, and create a great product and keep power in their own hands and don't sell their soul. So
there you go.
You could say that for a number of things: celebrities, actors, actresses, musicians, etc. But
yeah, well, that's a good tie-in, because I think we are
really. I just shot that out of my ass.
You did good, because I think that's so. Talking about actors and Hollywood and all that, the whole Joe Biden thing is just. I have listened to a lot. I've listened to a lot of people speculate, talk about which way the Democrats are going to go. And we've had a lot of questions come in from people wanting to know, what do you think? Is Gavin Newsom going to run? Are they going to let Kamala run? What's the deal? And I mean, I don't know about you, but I
honestly don't
would
know.
Surprise me.
I can't give you an answer. I honestly don't know. He says he's going to stay, but all the major news outlet now all point out all the mistakes that he makes.
Oh yeah,
it's just like I said on the last episode when we got asked this question. They made us seem like we were crazy questioning this president and his behavior for the last 3.5 years, but now we lead the lamb out to slaughter on the debate against Trump, and now all the knives are out and everybody's just stabbing. So, and it's left wing, right wing, all the major news outlets. He just gave that speech last night.
Press conference.
Called Zelensky. What the hell's his name? Zelensky Putin.
Yep.
And he called Kamala his vice president Trump. Yeah.
Did you see that meme?
Yeah.
So if nothing else, Joe Biden will go down in history as the greatest meme president of all time. Great meme last night. They had Zelensky shaking hands with Kamala, and it was Kamala, and she's like, welcome President Putin. And he's like, thank you, Vice President Trump. Yeah. It's just like, oh, crazy. But you can't make that shit up.
You can't not see that everywhere. I mean, the Daily Mail, and I feel like the Daily Mail's pretty left wing from any time I saw it. But I saw a Daily Mail news story on it, and I was just like, hell, if the Daily Mail's posting this, jeez, they're out for blood.
Here's the biggest. This may be the one thing out of all of it that tells the tale as far as what's going to happen, as far as will Biden stay, will he go, and if he goes, who's going to replace him. And I didn't know this, but all of the money that has been raised for his presidential reelection campaign, and it's like $1 billion. It is a shitload of money. That money can only be used by him or Kamala. If you go to the Democratic convention and they say we're going a different direction, and you use the superdelegates to switch him out, whoever that person is cannot use that money. Now, I think that money can go to congressional races, but it cannot be used for the presidential campaign of anybody but him or Kamala. And so a lot of people were saying, well, then we should run somebody like Peter Thiel or the guy that runs, Larry Fink, that runs BlackRock, or somebody like that. And I believe this, I guess I believe this theory. That'll never happen because even though those guys donate a hell of a lot of money to the Democratic Party and they're big libs, they are not liked by the base. Because you got to remember,
BlackRock, nobody likes fucking BlackRock.
Your diehard Democrats at this point, this isn't your dad. This isn't your Kennedy Democrats. These people are far left, redistribution of wealth, super tax on the rich, super climate change. Those people never vote for a businessman on the so a lot of people are like, we need to get a businessman that's just as good a businessman as what Trump is. That'll never work. So then you're like, okay, well, are you going to run Gavin Newsom? Well, there's not enough time, and Gavin Newsom might be the best person that is not like a businessman that could raise serious capital to run.
I seen an interview where he didn't seem like he was interested.
Yeah, I don't think his heart's in it.
He wants Biden to continue to run.
And here's the other thing, and this is where you were talking about Hollywood and all that. So there's a huge backlash among Hollywood elites because the guy that I think it's Jerry Katzenberg is his name.
George Clooney? George Clooney?
No. Katzenberg is a huge producer in Hollywood, and he's also a huge bundler. Like, he's the guy that was really tight with Biden, and he raised a shitload of money for the Biden deal. And now then, like, George Clooney is one of the people that are super pissed at him because they feel like they were betrayed because this guy kept telling all the Hollywood people that, oh, Biden, he's sharp as a tack. You don't have to worry, he's good. And then after the debate, they're all like, what the hell is going on? And one of those people is Rahm Emanuel's brother. Rahm Emanuel's brother runs one of the biggest talent agencies in the world. And he was interviewed, and basically, they're done with Biden. Like, all of the Hollywood elites are super pissed, not going to give one more dollar. And this is just after, literally before the debates, all these people, George Clooney included, they were lockstep. They're among the ones that were like,
Robert De Niro.
Yeah. And Robert De Niro.
Got his 9th kid coming at 82. Going to be dead by the time he's
pillar of the community.
10.
Doesn't know what the fuck he's doing either.
Yeah.
But anyway, but he's got Viagra, so that's good.
Yeah.
But anyway, so there's this riff, but when you strip it all away, like most things, and we talk about it on here, follow the money. Well, I think at the end of the day, they got to decide. They're either going to run Kamala or they're going to run him. And what's scary about Kamala is, I feel like, and this is me just totally pulling this shit out of my ass. So before y'all are like, oh yeah, by the way, we are not political experts, financial experts, medical experts. I whatever you look out there as an expert, we're none of those things. We're not even that good at farming. So when we have somebody on this podcast that talks about anything, mental health, sunscreen, whatever, I just laugh my ass off when somebody's like, you guys giving medical advice or whatever. Fuck no, we're not giving medical advice. We don't know shit. We're just telling you what we think. Yeah. And if you are listening to this, obviously you must know that. And if you don't, well, then you shouldn't be watching anyway. So this is not political advice. However, I think the only way they can run Kamala, and if I was Joe Biden...
I think the whiskey's fucking talking right now.
No, I'm telling you. The only way that they can run Kamala is if Joe Biden dies. Because then you make her candidacy a candidacy for his legacy. If he steps down...
That's fucking morbid as shit.
If he steps down, she has no credibility, and people are going to be pissed. But if that man dies, dies in office, you prop her up as she was the protege. He poured everything he knew into her. He believed in her when nobody else did. And you have to vote.
First black American woman, first woman president, first black woman president ever.
And if
in
you
history.
Care anything for Joe Biden and the legacy of the Democratic Party, you will vote for her. It's the only way it works. It does not
Or they
work
kill
otherwise.
Trump.
Or they kill Trump.
Or they kill
both of them.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
that's... I don't think you're too far off. I don't know if that'll happen,
it's the only way
but
you sell the legacy.
That's the only way she's got any firepower whatsoever.
You killed Kennedy in 1963.
I know. Well, this one wouldn't be as hard.
No, he could trip going off stage and have an aneurysm. He's out like that. This is seriously, and I've said this every time we've ever talked about it. The people that are handling Joe Biden, that is elder abuse, and every one of them should be prosecuted for it, including his wife, including Jill, because what they've done to him is criminal. It's 100% criminal. My dad died when he was 99 years old. I know what that looks like. And that, seriously, what they're doing to that man would be like me taking my father and leading him by the hand and having him be the president of the United States. he's not the president. Somebody is telling him what to say, and every decision he makes is because of the suggestion of somebody else. It's not his decision. It's whoever telling him what his decision should be.
That's the scariest part about him being the president.
Absolutely. And the only
scariest
thing scarier,
part.
however, I will say the only thing scarier than that man riding this out to the end is putting Kamala in, because her answer to everything is electric buses with USB ports. She thinks that can solve all the world's problems.
That's her laugh.
We have one more thing on the
Yeah, we do. I think you kind of hit that one out of the park. I don't know if I really have much else to add to that besides I don't think it really matters. I think Trump's still going to kick their ass.
So, who's Trump? Who's his pick? Who's he going
to for VP?
Pick? Yep.
Is Vivek out of the question? Is he just not?
No. Anything's on the I really
don't know that either. I like Tulsi Gabbard. I think she'd be a great side by side with him to kind of appease to another demographic, and I think she's sharp as shit. You could go Rubio, you could go Tim Scott, you could go Vivek. I really like Vivek. I think he could relate to the younger crowd. I thought Vivek did a really great job campaigning, although the poll numbers didn't reflect that because I think people were so loyal to Trump. But I think he had a lot of great things that he said when he was campaigning, a lot of common sense shit that seemed very like he could make a difference.
I think Vivek definitely would appeal to your generation.
I think he did. Like when he was campaigning, I think he really did. And yeah, when he, dropped out, he endorsed Trump right away. They had a rally. I thought it went really well. They kind of complimented each other extremely well. There's no bad blood there like there is with DeSantis and Trump. So I don't know. It would be interesting to see. So, definitely ain't going to pick Mike Pence again, but I would like to see Vivek. That would be my hope, I think, would be that. And this is just me speculating.
Does Trump need anybody?
Does he need anybody?
So in other words,
to prop him up?
Yeah, is there anybody that is there anybody he can pick that hurts him?
Well, that just depends on their ideologies and their way of conducting policy and all that shit, which I don't know enough of these people to know really where they stand on a whole lot. I know that there's conservatives, right? But I don't know everything that they think or every policy that they agree on or don't agree on. But what I would say, just based off pure demographics and just I think Tulsi could help him.
Yep.
Just off pure optics.
Yep.
Just because she's a woman, she's not super veteran,
former Democrat.
She's not super right. Mm-hmm. That would Joe Rogan, for example. Joe Rogan would go. He'd love that shit.
Yep.
He would love Tulsi Gabbard, and I would too. I think she's great. I think she has a lot of great ideas. There's some shit she's left on, but there's some shit that she's not right on, and I think that would appeal more to the masses and might appeal more to women too. And she's also a minority, I believe. Yep. So I think that would really help optics-wise. And Vivek, I think, again, did such a great job with the younger demographic when he was campaigning that I think he would just help with bringing in the younger generation even more.
So the safe bet.
And what I like about Vivek, too, is he's not part of,
he's outside
of the system.
Yep.
That
might hurt him.
True. Maybe you need a vice president that's been in the system. But again, Trump's been in the system. Trump knows the game.
The person that he picks for his VP, Trump is a lame duck president right off the get-go. He's only got one more term.
Yeah, okay.
So that person instantly becomes...
That's what lame duck means?
Yeah.
Okay.
That person is instantly the most likely candidate to run
after
Trump.
Yeah.
So you got to think about that. So Tulsi is an excellent pick because then you're back to this.
Would she do it though?
run for president.
What we're forgetting about Carrie Lake now too.
No, she's not in it.
She loves fucking Trump.
I know she loves Trump, but she's too polarizing. So the reason I think that
she's kind of like a Sarah Palin a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
She don't give a shit.
The reason I think Tulsi's still in it is because if you watched Bill Maurer's, is that how you say it? Bill Maur. Bill Maur. If you watched her on that, she was awful easy on Trump. Like she was not nearly as critical of him as she has been in the past. And that told me that she probably she's in the running, so she's trying to stay. Because he pushed her pretty hard and she didn't take the bait.
Well, I think that'd be great. I would love to see that, actually.
The safe bet, though, is this senator from Ohio, J.D. Vance. And I don't know a lot about him, but Ohio is a huge swing state, Midwest. And he's young. He's 38, I think. He's either 33 or 38. I think he's 38. So he's young. And he's almost like a young Trump. I mean, he's a hammer. And then the other one they gave was this North Dakota governor, Doug Burgum. And I hope they don't pick that guy because he's just kind of a
career politician.
He's like a Mike Pence, but he's a little better than Mike Pence. But so my two things would be Tulsi or J.D. Vance because I like the idea of getting somebody young
blood in there.
Yep. But I also believe at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter who he picks because I think Trump's the guy.
Yeah.
Trump's the guy no matter what. It really does. The people who are going to vote for Trump don't care who that person is.
Yeah, I think honestly his pick is only going to make his campaign stronger, but I don't see it really getting weaker depending on. Like if he picks Tulsi, I think that could appeal to people.
Yep.
If he picks the North Dakota guy, nobody's really going to give a fuck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you pick somebody that you're like, whatever, nobody's really going to care. They're still going to vote for him.
Yep.
But if you pick the right person that might appeal to another group, they might go, well, now I was on the fence about voting for Trump, but now that he picked Tulsi, I think I might.
Yeah. The other thing, so he was supposed to announce maybe this weekend or early next week, but I think he's going to wait as long as he can going into the Democratic convention because whatever they do, that may determine who he ultimately picks. Because who you pick for a vice president,
like chess.
If it's Joe, versus who you pick if it's Kamala. Oh yeah, so that's a point that they brought up. I can't remember what I was listening to, and they were talking about this. So if they happen to pick Kamala, he totally would pick Tulsi Gabbard because. Do you remember the debate when they were running and she just tore her a new ass? She
killed her.
So the comparison was made that if they move Joe out and Kamala gets the nomination, Trump would totally pick Tulsi. And then when Kamala wanted to debate, Trump would just say, well, you're not good enough to debate me. Maybe you should debate Tulsi again. And if you can do okay against her this time, then I'll debate you. But she tore you a new asshole last time. So unless you do better than that, I'm not even going to debate you. And that's the kind of shit that he would totally do.
Yeah, he would.
He would put the smackdown on. So
yeah.
I don't know. Anyway,
I think he'll wait as long as he possibly can, and he'll want to drop the hammer when it's the right time.
Yeah.
He's just going to let this shit show keep playing out, which I don't blame him.
Yeah.
By the day, but Biden just keeps getting fed to the wolves.
Yeah.
By everybody. They want him out. I mean, it seems to me that the machine wants Biden out now. Everybody's screaming from the rooftops. The cat is out of the bag. Even Jimmy Kimmel.
Yep.
Jimmy Kimmel's doing fucking skits on it now.
Even it's like he has no credibility.
Yeah, right. I know, but it's almost like they have given access to open the floodgates. to now bag on Biden after three and a half years.
So
the floodgates have been open. The machine, the system, the agenda has said, okay, you guys can now proceed with taking his head off.
Yep.
Go ahead.
So it just makes you wonder, like, was this the plan all along? Did they punt? Did they call an audible? That's the craziest part to me is when you watch this unfold. You would like, are these people really this dumb that they didn't see this coming? And this is their honest reaction?
No,
or is this been orchestrated the whole time? And now is the time we deploy all the...
Honest to God, I feel like your point about him going out, dying, and Kamala using it as a legacy ploy, if that happens, that would make me feel like it was more thought out than them just going with the flow. Because it just seems like, why would you do it right now? Yep. Why would you start cutting, like... I don't know.
I'm just going to tell you all right now. If that comes to pass, I'm buying a lottery ticket every week because my luck.
Well,
man.
God, we have been saying on this. I just want to give us a little pat on the back a little bit. We have been calling this shit out for like a long time now.
Probably too long.
A little bit. People probably fed up with us talking shit about Biden and his crazy antics, but fuck.
It's proven out.
It's been proven out.
Yep.
And when the whole COVID fiasco went down, we were a little bit early on bagging on the whole COVID thing. Probably a little earlier than a lot of people were about saying our 2 cents about that. And that's coming out too, that was a fucking sham.
Here's the deal. People,
we don't know a lot. I'll tell you what, we're not experts, but hey, we look around and we can think a little bit.
Common sense will get you a long way.
It will.
And I will say this.
They like to think we're dumb. They like to think Americans are dumber than, they like to think we're fucking stupid. But hey, if you pay attention, you can kind of sift through that bullshit.
The Midwest gets a bad rap, and farmers get a bad rap, and working class people get a bad rap about, not being very bright. And that's probably true, and we don't claim, add that to the list of other things, we don't claim to be very bright. But when you go through life and you have to figure shit out, and you don't have anybody to figure it out for you, and you don't have a huge cushion, you have a tendency to be able to look at problems and go, well, that's fucked up, or that's fucked up, and this is what we have to do to get out of it. I mean, it's common sense. And I feel like, and this is a broken record, but when you get within the coast and you get within people who don't actually don't build things, don't raise things, don't actually create any value, they just expound ideas and they're running off of trust fund money or whatever they're running on, to where they don't really have skin in the game. In other words, they're well enough healed that they could do whatever.
I just think people have FOMO. They don't want to say they're wrong. We've been indoctrinated to become politically correct, to fit in with everybody else. Yep. Indoctrination across the universities and the school system and everything like that. Yep. And it's almost become like, we got two guys that have moved from Nashville, came here, go to the gym that I go to, that if you went to Nashville and said you voted for Trump, they exclude you out of the friend group. Like, you're fucking exiled. You're exiled.
Yep.
Like, it's that fucking serious. Like, people will, if you say, oh, I voted for Trump, or I'm going to vote for Trump in a major city like that, that's completely gone crazy, yep, they'll just fucking exile you. And I mean, I just feel like that's honestly what it is. I feel like people just, they want to fit in. They want to fit in. They just take all the headlines that they read for its worth, and they just trust. Ever since COVID, that was the that was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. That whole fucking deal didn't sit right with me. That whole fucking deal didn't look right to me. And turns out it wasn't right.
No.
And the government fucking played us all. They played us all like a fiddle. And if you have any sense of trust in the government after that whole deal, and you just take everything at face value and take their word for it, I mean, I think you're crazy, because that to me was just like the biggest wake up call of they do not have our best interests in mind, and they totally fucked us over on that deal. They did not have our best interest in mind whatsoever.
No.
So
it's enough
to draw a man a drink, or
to drive a man
a drink.
We're gonna sample a bottle here. One thing I'm gonna tell you right now. The next episode we have very well might be another Hot Topics, because one thing we didn't talk about tonight, and tell me your thoughts on this, but I really want to dig into this. There were 3 Supreme Court rulings last week, and one of them I think is one of the most pivotal opinions that has come down out of the Supreme Court in a long time, and it was they call it the Chevron decision. And what it means is, just in a nutshell, that in the past, the court has put the burden of proof on the plaintiff as far as proving that what the government was doing, whatever agency, let's just use the EPA as an example. So if the EPA made a rule, then the court used the discretion that the EPA probably knew what they were talking about, and it was on the plaintiff, if they were suing the EPA, to prove that their science or whoever they were using, basically saying that they were the smart guys. And they called that Chevron. In other words, the burden was on the person coming against the rule, not on the people defending the rule. And they overturned that. So in other words, now, if you were to sue the EPA over emissions on your Ford F-350, the court could say to EPA, where do you get the authority to regulate this emissions equipment? And the EPA would say, "Oh, it's from the Clean Air Act of blah blah blah." And they would say, "Okay, where in the Clean Air Act does it say that diesel commercial or not commercial but consumer diesel engines need to have this? Have this."
Yeah.
And EPA would say, "Well, it doesn't say that anywhere." And the court would just say, "You're fucking out of here." Where in the past, they would say they wouldn't even hear that case, because the Chevron deal would be that, well, EPA knows what they're doing, and they know how to interpret the law.
So they're questioning the EPA.
FBI, I mean, whatever government agency you want, they've all had, it is the most quoted, most, whatever you want to say, used decision. Like, it's been quoted 18,000 times since the decision was made, that basically made that the standard. Anyway, we're not going to talk about it today, but it will be an entire Hot Topics, because it's going to affect so many laws that are currently on the books, and it's going to affect so many laws that are going to get written. And, talking about that will hurt my brain, so I need some whiskey. So what do we have?
You done yet?
I'm done.
I've been sitting here with this bottle just waiting.
Yep.
So we got limited edition, Maker's Mark, profile number 46, cask strength.
Yep.
Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, barrel finish with oak staves. Staves? Staves.
So one slice out of a barrel is a stave.
55.15% alcohol.
Yep. Just enough to do the job. wax dipped.
Wax dipped.
You got to pull the string on the side of it.
Where's the string?
Right
on
there.
that?
It's that where that little.
Oh, this thing?
Yep. Pull that.
Holy shit! I've been messing around with this bottle this whole time.
Yep.
Nice.
Sawyer doesn't usually get an unopened bottle.
No, I haven't.
Pull.
Listen to this shit.
Oh, nice pop.
That's a.
We're gonna do our old school today. Woo! What's that?
We're gonna
smell
pull
like?
that shit because we don't have any glasses.
We forgot to bring show prep. It's all about show prep. And
we just don't have that assistant yet, so it's sometimes the prep just doesn't get done the way we should.
So we're just gonna go old school. We're gonna take a pull.
Around the campfire.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna
It's like hot
throw it
damn.
back, and I won't say anything until you pull it.
Well, everybody's gonna be able to read your face. So should I keep talking?
I'll try. Yeah, you keep talking. I'm gonna pull it.
All right. So whiskey prices for the high dollar bottles seem to be moving down a little bit. I think the rush over the COVID really brought whiskey to the forefront, and prices just got stupid.
That's great. Now you just go ahead and pull that, and I'll take over from here.
All right. Did you leave me any?
Oh yeah, I left you plenty. There's plenty to go around. Oh, you had a little bit. You had a little bit of a face there too. Yeah, it's sweet though. It's got a sweet taste. But yeah, it's got
a little burn to it.
It's got a little
I'm pretty
burn.
familiar with Maker's Mark.
I am too. I think you got to have an ice cube with it. That would really help it.
And it's a little warm in the barn.
It is warm bottle.
That bottle's probably about 80 degrees. So,
yeah.
We haven't had the air moving very much. But,
it's pretty good, though. I've always liked Makers.
Makers is kind of a standard, I think for most people. Like, little place we go in town in Washington, I'll get an old-fashioned. They usually use Makers. When I'm mixing at home, I'll use Makers a lot. Makers, Four Roses. Those two, I go back and forth between them quite a bit. I've actually had this bottle a long time. This is probably my second or third bottle of Maker's Mark 46. And I would say, other than from standard Makers, that is a little, I guess I don't know if it's a little sweeter, but it finishes sweeter.
It had a sweeter. I feel like it was sweeter
than the regular Makers.
Yeah. I feel like it was sweeter, which I liked the flavor a lot. It just was, it had a pretty quick burn to it. But yeah, again, that could have been one, we pulled it straight from the bottle. Two, it's 80 degrees in here and we didn't have glasses with some ice in it. I think if we had some glasses with some ice in it, probably tastes a little better.
Well, we didn't let it breathe very well.
No,
either.
we were kind of rookies. Again, back to the prep.
We popped it and dropped it.
So what do you rate it?
Makers? I don't know. I'd rate it I'd probably rate that. I would probably rate it 6.5 out of 10.
I was gonna say 7.
And I probably would call it 7. And that's just because it's kind of like it's a familiar friend of mine. I use it quite a bit.
Yeah.
And so it's good. I wish I had more time.
I'd recommend it. I'd recommend it. I think if we gave it a better fair trial, we might have those numbers would have been raised a little bit on the rating, but
yeah, and you know what? It all really comes down to where you are in this country as far as what you can get for whiskey. And Iowa's not a great state to get allocated whiskey. And if I was starting a home bar, that it would be one of my bottles that I would get, whether it's 46 or whether it's just regular Maker's Mark. I mean, if you were starting and you were going to go buy 5 bottles of whiskey, I would probably get Four Roses. I would get Maker's.
Knob Creek.
Yeah.
I like some Knob Creek.
I like Knob Creek. That's a little sweeter.
Elijah Craig?
Yeah.
No?
Knob Creek or Elijah Craig or both. If you can find a bottle of, what the hell is that? I just got it. Wild Turkey 101. Wild Turkey 101 is great. And
I like some Whistle Pig too.
Yeah, but I only like the older
I'm naming off a bunch of generic ones, but
the older stuff.
you don't give me any of the good shit. So.
Well, no, because you drink it all too fast. Oh, Russell's. You can get a bottle of Russell Reserve 10-year. That's pretty good. I think that's like 5 bottles. Those are 5 good bottles of whiskey right there. And you're not spending a whole lot of money.
I threw in a bunch of ones too, so that was probably more like 10, but because I was throwing out suggestions while
there was
you were
a long
thinking.
time. There was a long time in there where
Buffalo Trace too.
Crown Royal would have been in there.
Buffalo Trace.
Well, Buffalo Trace.
That's pretty good,
I would
too.
have Buffalo Trace in there.
Buffalo
it's
Trace
so
is pretty
hard.
good. There's a lot of great options. We are filling up the shelves over here.
Yep.
We always love when people send us
Smoke
bottles.
wagon.
Smoke wagon.
I like Smoke Wagon.
We got a bunch of people that have sent us bottles, which is great. That's helped us fill up the shelves even more, but we're hoping we could take it all the way to the ceiling.
Yeah, and then if you move up what you want to spend. I mean, like Eagle Rare, great bottle. Blanton's, a lot of people think Blanton's overrated. It probably is overrated. I wouldn't overpay for a bottle of Blanton's, but it's damn good whiskey.
Yeah.
I don't know what else. Weller.
Well, you're telling everybody what we're going to be drinking, so you better just shut up on future Whiskey Minutes.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter. We'll always find something new.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up. I think I got all my words out.
I think I did too.
Yeah.
And that wasn't too, I hope that wasn't too abrasive for you.
No. Well, you know what? I've come to realize we just aren't going to please everybody, and that's okay.
Yep.
You know what? We're not for everybody, and we're not trying to be for everybody.
And once again, do your own research. If you listen to
research.
this and it pissed you off, go figure out why it pissed you off. If you thought, yeah, those guys are 100% right, you're probably wrong. You need to go do your own research.
I think you got to give yourself a little more credit.
Well, I know, but
You're not
everybody's got to think for themselves. Like, you got to stay hungry. You have to be hungry to find your own truths.
Yep, I agree with that. You do. 1,000%. So we appreciate all you guys. We love y'all, all you guys. Leave a review on Spotify or Apple. Share the show if you got any value, if you related to us on something, if you laughed, if you thought we made a good point. Share the show. That really helps us grow the show. You can go over to Farmer Grade, pick yourself up a box of meat, save 10% off with the code BarnTalk. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll see you back here next week for another episode.